Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my full breakdown of how to launch a successful career in cybersecurity for the year 2022. And more specifically, I'll be talking to you about the skills you need, how to acquire those skills. We'll talk about certifications, degrees. I'll give you some general tips and guidelines, but we'll also talk about the most common mistakes people make when trying to launch their career in cybersecurity and how to avoid making those exact same mistakes. So this video is going to be for you if you're in college and you want to start your career in cybersecurity, or maybe you're currently a working professional in another field, but you're looking to switch over to cybersecurity. But before I get into the video, if you do enjoy content like this, please do consider hitting the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get started. Okay, so you want to become a cybersecurity professional in the year 2022. How would you achieve that? There is one question you need to first of all ask yourself, and that is, what area of cybersecurity do I want to specialize in? Cybersecurity today is so much more than pen testing and ethical hacking, all right? We've got cyber management, there is cyber law, there is cyber architecture, there is malware analysis, there is forensics, like the list goes on and on and on and on. Cybersecurity is such a massive field with so many job opportunities. That's why it's important that you think, okay, I want to get into cybersecurity, but what exactly do I want to be in cybersecurity? What's going to be my job title? Do I want to be the malware analyst? Do I want to be just a general security analyst? Do I want to be a manager? What exactly would my responsibilities be? There's actually two other reasons why you'd want to think about this, okay? One is that when you have an exact goal, an exact objective, you know you want to become, let's say, a cyber architect, you will have a very clear goal in front of you. 2 years from now, I want to be a cyber architect. You would know, okay, these are the skills I need. These are the certifications I need. You would be able to strategize your plan to becoming the cyber architect. So you will have a clear focus, right? But the other reason is that, and this would pertain to you if you're currently a working professional in another field. Let's say you're a lawyer, right? You're a lawyer of some sort. You've spent 5 years, 10 years, 15 years working as a lawyer. If you want to now switch over to cybersecurity and you're looking to somehow make use of all the skills and experience you've gained as a lawyer in all those years, you might want to consider taking a look at, say, for example, cyber law. It might not be quite the same kind of law you've practiced before, but I'm pretty sure you might be able to leverage some of the experience and skills you've gained working as a lawyer in cyber law. So if you're a working professional, you've acquired all these skills, experience in this particular field, try to look into a field under cybersecurity where you might be able to make use of all those skills and experience, because it doesn't make any sense if you've spent all these years, you've gathered this experience or the skills, and then you have to start all over again in cybersecurity. Of course, it's also possible that maybe you're sick and tired of your current job, your career, you want to start afresh. That's perfectly fine. But if you're the type of person who still wants to make use of what you've gained from experience and skills in another field, try picking a field that in cybersecurity that where you might be able to make use of them, okay? Another example would be management, all right? If you have experience working as a manager, maybe business management, finance management, you've got leadership skills, then you might think of becoming a cyber manager. You would be able to make use of all the skills and experience you've gained working as a manager in cyber management. So kind of think of it that way. Be strategic when trying to pick a field under cybersecurity. Now, of course, if you've worked in a field that has no connection whatsoever to cybersecurity, maybe you work as a truck driver, a chef, a doctor, for example, it's okay. You can start from the ground up on cybersecurity, working as a security analyst, and then work your way up. Okay, with that question out of the way, let's now get into the skills. What exactly do you need to know to get into cybersecurity? Now, in order to answer this question, I typically like to say something about cybersecurity. You should know as much as possible about cybersecurity and then know at least something about the other branches of IT, information technology. What exactly am I talking about? I like to break down information technology into 6 main categories. The first would be hardware, software. You've got networking, you've got cybersecurity, you've got web development, databases, and then programming. Of course, this is very, very subjective. It's just my own subjective way of breaking down IT. To get into cybersecurity, you need to know as much as possible. You need to know as much as you can about cybersecurity, and then know something about those other 5 branches. Let's start off with the hardware, software. What am I talking about? You need to know exactly what the basics of hardware are. What's a RAM? Random access memory, what's that? What is the read-only memory, ROM? The different types of RAM. What's a processor? Different types of processor, things like that. You should know what the motherboard is, right? What the processor is, different types of processors. These are just the basics that you need to know. When I'm talking about software, I'm talking about operating systems, the big 5. Your Android, iOS, Mac, Linux, and of course Windows. You don't need to be a grandmaster at knowing how to use these operating systems, but you should know the basics. The OS is the most important software in any system, in any machine. So if you have a basic understanding of how operating systems function, how they work together with the hardware to run a computer system, then you're good to go. Now, how would you acquire this knowledge? I love to recommend you studying for the A+, the Computer A+ certification exam. Now, please, you don't need to become certified. Don't spend your money writing the exam and getting the A+ certification. You don't need it. However, if you're able to gain access to the materials that will prepare you for the A+ exam, that will typically expose you to all the information you need to know about hardware. For software, use Google. I know it's not the best answer, but Google is still the most powerful search engine. The world is at your fingertips with Google, okay? Knowledge is at your fingertips. Just go on Google, type in, okay, how does an operating system work? Go on YouTube, watch YouTube videos. You will have all the knowledge that you need right there. Let's move on to the second branch, which is easily the most important branch to you as a cybersecurity professional, besides cybersecurity itself, of course. I'm talking about networking. Networking is kind of like the right hand of cybersecurity. They go hand in hand so many times. The more you know about networking, the stronger you will be as a cybersecurity professional. But what exactly do you need to know in networking? You need to know things like your IP addresses and your MAC addresses, routers and switches, how they work. You need to know about ports, protocols, TCP, IP, OSI models, things like that, okay? And the best way to acquire this knowledge is to, again, pretend like you're writing the Network Plus, the Computer Network Plus certification exam. When you go for the Network Plus, when you read the training materials for this exam, it will expose you. And then something slightly more advanced would be the CCNA, the Cisco Certified Network Associate. If you can gain access to the training materials for these 2 certifications, that will give you all the knowledge that you need to have. Again, you don't need to be certified as a Network Plus engineer or a CCNA. You don't need that, okay? Just the training materials. Now, branch number 3, which is cybersecurity itself. So if you acquired the basics of hardware and software, you've acquired the basics of networking. Now you can turn your attention into cybersecurity, gaining the basic skills of a cybersecurity professional. It's not going to make any sense to call yourself a cybersecurity expert, but then you don't know the difference between a Trojan and a worm. So, what exactly do you need to know in cybersecurity? First of all, let's talk about hackers and the hacking methodology. Have a general understanding of how hackers work. Know what malware is, the malware family. Know the attacks, the different types of cyber attacks, how they're performed. Cyber defenses, how do cybersecurity experts protect themselves, their data, their networks from hackers and malware. Talk about social engineering, privacy and anonymity, where we're talking about things like, using Tor, VPN, and of course, security policies. These are like the ground basics of cybersecurity, the knowledge in cybersecurity that you need to have to call yourself a cybersecurity professional. All right. With those 3 branches out of the way, the remaining 3 are optional. It would help you if you do know something about the remaining 3 branches, but in many cases, you can get away without knowing anything about those other 3 branches. However, I would strongly recommend that you know something about the other three branches, the fourth one being, of course, web development. Of course, websites are everywhere and they're not going anywhere. But what exactly do you need to know on the web development? Understand the fundamentals and the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and even WordPress. All right. You don't need to learn how to code in these languages, but just have the very basic understanding. Okay, this is HTML. This is what HTML does. This is what CSS does. Oh, how to use WordPress? Very, very, very simple. I guarantee you, you can learn how to use WordPress within 3-4 days. It's very, very easy. Have a general understanding of PHP. What does PHP do? What is JavaScript? Okay, what exactly will JavaScript do? When you know these basics, you're good to go. Also, try to learn what happens behind the scenes with websites. How exactly does a website function? What is the relationship between websites and databases? Because typically, most websites would have a database where the data of the website, like images, videos, audio files, would be stored in. So if you know how the databases work together with the websites to produce web content, you'll be good to go. Know things like your DNS server, all right, your web servers. How do they function behind the scenes? How is it that when you type in www.labcyber.com, you press enter, try to understand the basics, the basic principles of how the data suddenly appears on your screen. You see the LabCyber logo, the homepage. What happened behind the scenes for all that information to be displayed on your computer screen? So, web development, databases, now finally, programming. This is a very, very common question I get all the time. Hey, Alex, my apologies, my camera stopped recording, so I had to resume the video, so my apologies for the sudden cut. But going back to the video, programming, right? Do you need to become a programmer to get into cybersecurity? The short answer is no. You don't need to be a programmer. However, if you do know how to program, that will give you a lot more opportunities, of course. In fact, the only downside I can think of learning programming is you might spend all this time learning programming and then eventually you might never actually use that knowledge. So it might be like knowledge wasted. And to learn programming, it's not easy. You do need to dedicate plenty of time. But if you have the time, the resources, I will highly recommend that you do learn the basics of programming, and especially because the usual question would be, okay, what programming language should I learn? The answer would be Python. That's my top choice because two reasons. One, Python is already widely used in cybersecurity. It's everywhere. And second is that Python is actually one of the easier languages to learn how to use, especially if you're new to programming. The syntax is pretty easy to understand. It's flexible. And it's not quite as strict as other programming languages like, say, Java or C# or C++. So Python would be my top choice. If you have the time, you could also invest in learning about JavaScript. JavaScript is used a lot in websites and web applications. So if you do have an understanding of how to code, let's say to an intermediate level of JavaScript, that would also help you greatly when it comes to web security. Now, I haven't talked about how you can gain access to the knowledge of, cybersecurity, web development, databases, and of course, programming. But that's because I do have a very special course that can introduce you to what you need to know about these branches. I have all my courses on both LabCyber and on Udemy. I'll have the links in the box down below for you. So if you're interested in acquiring these basic skills in these branches, I'll have my courses listed out for you. You'll have all the knowledge you'll have all the information in the description box below. But it's not just about the theoretical skills. You also need to acquire some practical cybersecurity skills as well. This would make you a lot more attractive to potential employers and recruiters. But what practical skills am I talking about? Number one, learn how to use Kali Linux, right? Kali Linux in particular because it's used a lot in cybersecurity, especially in pen testing and ethical hacking. So what you need right now is you need to learn how to install Kali Linux on your machine using virtual software like say VirtualBox, I actually do have a tutorial here on YouTube that will show you how to install Kali Linux on your machine using VirtualBox. I'll have the link in the description box below for you to check it out if you want to. But also learn how to use software tools like say Nmap. Nmap, because you would learn a lot about IP addresses, ports, protocols, networks, and so on. Wireshark because it is the ultimate packet analysis tool. You will understand greatly how packets, pieces of data are being sent from one computer to another or from one network to another. You will understand how these things work behind the scenes when you use Wireshark. It's a very, very, very powerful tool. Learn how to use recon-ng. This would be for reconnaissance, information gathering. It's one of the tools used by hackers whenever they try to gather as much information as they can about a potential target. So learning how to use recon-ng will put you in the place of a hacker. You begin to understand how hackers think, the kinds of tools they use. And finally, Burp Suite. This is a great tool for practical use. You'll learn how to hack websites. You'll learn about different kinds of vulnerabilities. It will just give you a wide exposure to the different kinds of vulnerabilities out there and how hackers exploit them. So to give you a quick recap, learn how to use VirtualBox and Kali Linux, Nmap, Wireshark, recon-ng, and Burp Suite. There are so many tools out there, so much more, but with these 5, I think you would have just about enough to get your hands wet, and you can tell your potential employers and recruiters that, hey, I know how to use these tools. That'll make you a lot more attractive. Let's now talk about certifications and degrees. And the biggest question here would be, do I need a degree in cybersecurity, or let's say in tech, to get into cybersecurity? The short answer is no. So please, if you're currently a working professional in another field, don't think about going back to school and getting yourself a degree in tech or in cybersecurity, because you are not going to need it. Now, obviously, if you are somebody who's just getting into college, you're very, very young, for sure, pick a field, go for a degree under IT. It could be computer engineering, computer science, or even if you have degrees in cybersecurity, you can go for those ones as well. That will, of course, why not? Why not do that? But if you're already a working professional in another field, you don't need degrees, all right? What you need and what everyone needs are certifications, all right? These are the lifeblood of you getting any kind of job or career in cybersecurity. Certifications, they matter a lot. But what exactly are the types of certifications that you should go for? The gold standard for entry-level certifications would be the CompTIA Security Plus. This is the very first certification you should go for. It's also one of the easiest exams to pass, and in order to pass the exam, you need to study. And the thing about CompTIA Security Plus is that you would the objectives cover very wide areas in cybersecurity. So you would learn a little bit about pen testing, a little bit about ethical hacking, a little bit about networking, a little bit about cyber management as well, and so on. So it's kind of like the general entry-level exam for cybersecurity professionals. So CompTIA Security Plus would be the top choice to start off with. After CompTIA Security Plus, the next certifications you acquire should be targeted towards you achieving a particular goal. This brings me to another mistake a lot of people often make, and that is they get certified for the sake of being certified. They acquire all these certifications, but when they add them up, it doesn't really make any sense. So many people out there, they'll get certifications in networking, they will get one in forensics, they will get one in management, they'll get one in cyber architecture, they'll get one in pen testing. It's like, okay, you've got all these certifications, good for you. But what exactly is your specialty, right? So here's the thing. When you're acquiring certifications, make sure you're very, very strategic in your plan, and that these certifications will help you achieve a particular goal. I'll give you a scenario, right? Let's say, for example, you want to become an ethical hacker, right? Start off by getting your CompTIA Security Plus certification. Again, everyone should get the CompTIA Security Plus. Second, you can think about getting the eLearn Junior Penetration Tester certification. This is a junior level certification, but it's more advanced than Computer Security Plus. When you have the junior penetration tester license, you can begin to apply for jobs as a pen tester or even as an ethical hacker, kind of like the junior level, okay? Once you get the job, you begin acquiring more experience, you can then go for the certified ethical hacker. This is arguably the most recognized, the most respected certification for ethical hackers. If you're not interested in ethical hacking, maybe you want to go into pen testing, you can do the exact same route. Computer Security Plus, the eLearn Junior Penetration Tester certification, and then you can go for the OSCPD, Offensive Security Certified Practitioner. That's kind of like the most respected certification for pen testers, right? And then at the end, if you feel like, you know what, I want to go even further in my career as a cybersecurity professional, you can then go for the CISSP. That's by far the most respected certification in cybersecurity, but it's also one of the most difficult. So before you go for it, make sure that you have all the necessary skills and experience to gain the certification. But that's kind of like the way you should think when you're trying to acquire your certifications. Every certification you acquire should help you achieve a particular goal. So to conclude, I just want to give you some words of encouragement. If you want to launch your career in cybersecurity, by all means, go for it. I personally think that cybersecurity is a fantastic field, plenty of opportunities, and I don't see those opportunities going away anytime soon. In fact, the more we advance in our technology, now we've got, cloud computing, we've got NFTs, we've got cryptocurrency, we've got all these sorts of new technologies that are coming in, like the Facebook metaverse, for example. I feel that cybersecurity is here to stay. It is the present and it is going to be the future as well. So you can't go wrong by trying to launch your career in cybersecurity. I want to encourage you to learn as much as you can. Google is your best friend, YouTube is your other best friend, and I also want to give you other websites that you can check out regularly for information about cybersecurity. And the first one here is going to be the itsecurity.guru.org. Plenty of news on cybersecurity. Also check out the csoonline.com. Again, plenty of news about hackers, few videos, resources, newsletters, things like that. You've got the Info Security magazine as well. You've got Hacker News. So if you want to keep abreast of all the latest hacks around the world, this is going to be your resource. And of course, the securityweekly.com. And if you're looking to get yourself into hacking, you want to test out your practical skills, you can check out Hack the Box. There are so many websites like this out there, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about them. So check out Hack the Box. You can go on Google, search for Hack the Box alternatives. You have other options out there as well. And of course, I can't leave without mentioning my own courses. You can go to labcyber.com/library. You can check out all my cybersecurity courses out there. Or if you're on Udemy, you can also check out my own personal profile, Alexander Oni. That's my full name. You can check me out on Udemy. I check out all my cybersecurity courses there as well. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video on how to launch your career in cybersecurity for the year 2022. And if you did, please do consider hitting the like button to help the algorithm. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Share this video with anyone who may feel might benefit from it. And until next time, I'm Alex. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the very best in launching your career. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions or comments about anything I've said in the video, of course, put them down in the comment section below. I almost forgot about that. So thank you so much for watching the video. Stay well out there. Wish you all the very best in your cybersecurity journey, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.